In Vernon, Connecticut, there's a house with a flag out front and a lawn off a postcard. Then the owner walks you downstairs, drags his fingers across the foundation, and the wall crumbles under his hand. In the rubble, tiny flecks sparkle. Locals call it fool's gold. Up to 34,000 homes in this corner of Connecticut were poured with it. The fix means lifting the entire house off the ground, $150,000 to $250,000. And the insurance answer was no. How does concrete, the material Roman bridges still stand on, turn to gravel in 15 years? Your instinct says a bad batch, too much water, a cold day pour. But these foundations passed their strength tests. The mix wasn't the problem. What went into the mix was the stone itself. 3 failure points, 1 buried in the rock, 1 missing from the rule book, and 1 written into your insurance policy, all locked in before the first crack showed. Understand something about your foundation. 70 to 80% of it isn't cement at all. It's crushed stone, aggregate. Cement is just the glue. The rock is the body. It's the one ingredient supposed to be chemically dead, the part that lasts forever. And you never chose it. Your foundation was poured with rock from whatever quarry sat closest to the job. And in northeastern Connecticut, for 3 decades, closest meant one specific hillside in the town of Willington. Failure number 1. Here's how it's supposed to work. Aggregate comes from clean deposits, and trucking stone is expensive. Every mile is money. So the local quarry wins every bid. Becker's quarry had veins of pyrrhotite, an iron sulfide, a cousin of fool's gold. One concrete company, J.J. Mott's, poured that stone into basements across the region. Not out of malice, out of the oldest motive in construction. The cheapest rock is the rock next door. So from 1983 into the 2000s, truck after truck left that quarry, and foundation after foundation went into the ground, thousands of them. And every one looked perfect. It cured hard. It rang solid under a hammer. The test cylinders passed their strength checks. The inspector signed off. The framing went up. The families moved in. No stage of home construction looks at cured concrete and asks what mineral is sleeping inside it. Then water and oxygen find the pyrrhotite, and the mineral starts to oxidize and expand. Inside rock-hard concrete, something is slowly growing. First, hairline cracks, then a web across the whole wall. They call it map cracking. Rust-colored stains bleed through. By the time you see the first crack, the reaction has been running for years. A contractor in the news footage says it straight, running his hand along a basement wall. This is concrete. I shouldn't be able to touch it with my fingers. Run the numbers. Hailing cleaner stone from the next county, a few dollars more per ton. A truckload of savings spread across thousands of pours. The foundation under your family, $250,000 to replace. That's the bargain buried in the rock. Failure number 2. You'd think concrete is the most tested material on your lot. And you'd be right. The slump gets checked while it's wet. Cylinders get crushed at 28 days to prove the strength. The inspector measures the footing and counts the rebar. Every number on that checklist is about the mix. How strong, how wet, how deep. Not one number is about the chemistry of the stone. The rock, 3/4 of your foundation, walks through every checkpoint untested. The test exists. A petrographic exam, a geologist reading a slice of stone under a microscope, spots iron sulfides for a few $100s. But no building code required it, so nobody ordered it, because nobody pays for a test the rulebook doesn't demand. The quarry vouched for itself. The plant trusted the quarry. The town trusted the plant. Everyone in the chain assumed the man behind him had looked. So for 30 years, one quarry fed one region, and not once, not by the quarry, not by the plant, not by the state, did anyone put that stone under a microscope. Every inspection a house passes, permits, pours, framing, final walkthrough, ran flawlessly on these homes, thousands of times. The system checked everything except the one thing that was killing them. The paperwork looks perfect. Every one of these crumbling houses passed every inspection it was ever given. The first failures surfaced in the 90s and looked like isolated bad luck. One basement here, a bad batch there. The pattern only became visible when whole neighborhoods started cracking on the same schedule. Same age, same concrete company. By the time the state connected the dots, that quarry had poured for another 2 decades. In the same footage, a homeowner shrugs. Nobody around here knew what it was. This entire neighborhood, everybody's infected. Every other house on the street. One microscope test. A few $100s, once. Against an estimated $1 billion of crumbling basements across one corner of one state. Now the part that should make you angry. You're thinking, this is what insurance is for. A foundation failing under your house is the textbook catastrophe you've paid premiums against for decades. But pyrrhotite has a cruel sense of timing. It surfaces 10, 20, 30 years after the pour. The builder's warranty died years ago. The concrete company's liability is long expired. By design of the calendar, exactly one payer is left. You. Your homeowner's policy covers collapse, and here's how it's supposed to work. House breaks, insurance pays. But insurers read collapse their way. A sudden event, a roof coming down on a Tuesday. A wall that crumbles over 15 years? That's gradual deterioration. Excluded. Thousands of Connecticut families filed claims on the exact disaster their policy seemed written for. The letters came back with one word: denied. And the denials held. Courts largely sided with the fine print. Carriers tightened their collapse language as the crisis grew. Meanwhile, the damage math kept running. You can't sell without disclosing it. You can't refinance a home the bank won't touch. And you keep paying a full mortgage on a foundation that is dissolving. The only real fix is brutal. The whole house gets jacked into the air on steel beams, the old foundation is jackhammered out, it comes apart like gravel, and a new one is poured underneath. Weeks of work, a bill the size of a starter home. One owner compares it to a diagnosis. Some people get cancer and just won't admit it. They turn their back, and the problem passes to their children. So here's how you fight back. First, if you are buying in a pyrrhotite region, Eastern Connecticut is the famous one, but the mineral sits in quarries elsewhere too. Ask 2 questions in writing. What year was the foundation poured? And who supplied the concrete? Then walk the basement yourself. A spiderweb of cracks with rusty staining isn't character. It's a countdown. Second, the test they never ran. Run it yourself. A core sample with petrographic analysis costs a few $100s. On a purchase this size, it's the cheapest insurance you will ever buy. Third, open your policy tonight and find the word collapse. Read how they define it. If it says sudden and abrupt, understand what that excludes. Then document everything. Photograph every crack and write the date beside it. Marker on concrete like the Connecticut owners. A dated timeline is your only leverage. And fourth, the rule that covers all 3. Before you buy any house, hire your own structural engineer. $400 to $700, and they work for you, not the seller, not the agent, not a repair company chasing commission. 1 hour in that basement can save you $250,000.